The cold email strategy that I'm about to give you made one of our clients 4.5 million in new revenue. And the reason I think it's gonna work for you is because we did it in one of the most saturated spaces out there, marketing agency services, where there's thousands of people pitching the same service. So today I'm gonna break down the full strategy in 4 simple parts so you can literally copy and paste it and apply it to your business today. Let's get into it. And just show you this is real. Here's the first year of us working together. This is the expected revenue over 7 months, and this is the MRR across year 2, so you can time that times 7. They also wrote an article about us, and it's still one of my favorite ways with Ivanov been described, so you can check it out here on Hampton. And if you go on our website, there's actually a recorded video with Jonathan going over his experience here, so feel free to take a look at that. So the company we did this for is one of my favorite agencies out there, and it all starts with how we build their list. So they're a full service agency, so they handle everything from SEO to branding to copywriting, like you name it. Now, a lot of people, when they start off with outbound, is they just slap a bunch of job titles, a bunch of industries, and they just click send to everybody. That's not what we're gonna be talking about today. We actually did the opposite. So we looked at their current customer base, and that's how we built off the list. The way we figure out their best customers is literally going through their HubSpot data. So looking at the deals that brought in the most MRR, looking at who they work with there, what type of company it was, what problems were they actually solving. That tells you exactly who you want to target for your business, because you're literally figuring out who's the people that are gonna pay me the most amount of money and they're gonna stick the longest. Very important for marketing agencies especially. In this case, the top customers that we identified were 1, agencies, because they were one of the ones that were paying the most. 2, companies with smaller marketing teams. Number 3, companies that had new hires, aka newly hired marketing leaders. And number 4, companies with specific tech stack like WordPress. Now, let's start with the first one, WordPress. Why we picked this one? Number 1, they're experts in this field, and I like this for any web-based agency. So if you have experience with it, oh great, just go for it. You can pick any tech stack here, right? It could be Webflow, it could be HubSpot. In this case, like I said, we went after WordPress. The easiest way to find these companies is using a tool called BuiltWith that has a lot of these technologies already ingrained. Now let me show you here. This is from a tool called Clay, which also has an integration with BuiltWith. And you can see here these guys have WordPress, Yoast, SEO, right? All these plugins or technologies we can use to target the right audience. In this case, this was actually one for migration play. So migrating people from WordPress, from Webflow. So it was actually from a different client, but we might do the same thing for another, where if they're WordPress specialized, like look at another CMS they are on and migrate them off of there. Now this works for other technologies. Like I said, you could look at stuff like if they use HubSpot, Salesforce, right? Whatever you're specialized in. Now, the strongest angle was the new hires. So literally leaders that were recently promoted or recently hired in the last 3 or 6 months, especially marketing leaders. We've seen that work well across the board for a lot of other businesses. So I really suggest checking it out. And the way you can find that signal, it's pretty easy. So a lot of these tools like Apollo and Prospeo, they have a new hire filter. So you can just use that. Really don't even need a tool like Clay for it. The other segment that we targeted a lot was marketing agencies. And my favorite thing that we did here was we looked for agencies that lacked something that Dingus and Zazie offer. So let's say they were an SEO agency, but they couldn't do paid ads, or they were a paid ads agency, but they didn't have creatives in-house. And the way we did this was using Clay. We used this prompt here on OpenAI to check the type of services they had. So let's say this agency has like video marketing, sales, prospecting, right? So in this case, you might say, hey, do you want to, add SEO to your offering? This agency might be doing just influencer marketing. So we might say like, hey, do you want to offer like video or paid ads? So it's a great way to pick and choose which services to include in the copy. The last play that we loved running that worked really well. So they're actually Canada based, and we targeted businesses specifically in Canada, and even ones that are specifically closer to their state. So if they were in the same state, you might say something like PS, we're also state-based, so just say the specific state name. If they're in the same country, aka Canada, PS, we're also based out of Canada. Now remember when I said this, that we pulled this out for one of the most saturated markets out there, aka marketing agency services? Well, when an agency is saying the same things about branding, SEO, paid ads, whatever it is, and the email looks exactly the same, that email is gonna get deleted. So what we led with is actually their offer, which was really good. Unlimited marketing and design for one flat price. That works great because it's a great offer. You're paying this amount to get literally 9 unlimited services. So I can't show their exact emails because they will kill me, but I'm gonna show you what a bad copy looks like versus a good copy for other agents. So I really love showing this picture because I think it's a funny example of how everybody's sending the same emails. So this is what not to do. So I got this random email one day. It was about 60 plus products. They talked about they launched this Kickstarter program. They saved all this money. It was just a ton of numbers, made no sense. This was nothing related to me. I'm not even a SaaS business, so it's super irrelevant. Right? So this is what you shouldn't do. Now, here's what you should do instead. So this is an example of a good email. So in this case, we're referencing the CEO. Are you asking, what happens when someone looks them up on Google or on an AI search? We said we did an audit for them. We have 2 free ideas for them to use to get cited more often. Should we set up a quick chat? So this is another example of a strong offer. Like I said, DNZ's case, it's different because their core offer is strong. If you're a typical PPC or SEO agency, this is something I might lean on more towards, like offering a case study. But if you do have a strong offer where you're 10 services for a flat price, totally go for it. The other thing we did was also change the part of the offer depending on who we were pitching. So like I said, if we're talking to agencies, it was more so around saving costs, or if they didn't have another service, right, they could offer it for extra revenue or extra profit. Or if they didn't have enough power to even handle their main service, DNZ could be an add-on. With small businesses, where we saw that they had 0 people in marketing or a very small marketing team, it was outsourcing more of that marketing function. So pro tip here, if they have 1 or 2 people and they're a bigger company, let's say 30 plus employees, they're probably more likely to be using agencies. So it was really the same offer every time, but we packaged it in a different way depending on who we were targeting. By the way, if at any time you want us to apply the same things we did for Dingus and Zazie into your business and generate you millions in pipeline, you can book a free growth plan by clicking the link below. Anyways, let's keep going. So a strong offer is one of the most crucial things in email, but there's other ways you can make your email strong. Most cold emails these days sound super AI, very corporate, very formal, so people just delete them. What we did for Dingus and Zazie was the exact opposite. So we wrote it with humor in mind, especially keep in mind we're targeting marketing people here, so they have a sense of humor, because that's the way you make your email stand out in a CF competition. I can't show you their exact emails, but I'm gonna pull out other emails we've used for other agencies and honestly similar ones that we've done for Dingus and Zazie. So these days you can't use images, sadly, unless you're on LinkedIn, but let's say speaking email strictly. This one example, hey Alex, maybe my first email got stuck in spam with a certain prince from Nigeria. Haha, bad jokes aside, would love to help, company name, scale spend with ad agency account info built for it. Are you available to chat, blah, blah, blah. So that's a great follow-up. A second one, which might be a breakup email, we might use this as the last third email. Hey Alex, I wanted to see if XYZ could help increase your revenue per client by making it easy to upsell link building. That's one. B, I want to see if ABC could help you improve profit margins on link building. So this is just variations here, but let me know if 1, you're not interested, 2, want to pick at some of our case studies, or 3, you're busy listening to your favorite song, playing, ignoring emails. So we had to get a bit creative because now images can get you down in spam. Hopefully this gives you a couple of ideas you can use in your emails. I will show you, however, some of the responses that we got from these people. So they're one person said this was hilarious, you definitely got my attention on this one. Here they're oh, we've added you to our roster, thanks for reaching out and I appreciate the humor. I'm currently traveling, let's plan touch base next week. So you can all see here, right, examples of people just, loving the humorous approach. Normally we tend to drop more humor in the follow-up emails. So maybe even a couple of memes. Like I said, if you're on LinkedIn, you can still use images. On some of these campaigns, we're getting, 5 to 7+% reply rate, which is, very high in cold email right now. Now, Now, I also want to make a point here that this has to match your personality. So this was who Dingus and Zazie was. They were a creative agency. They were kind of crazy and wacky, so it just matched their personality. But I will say, even in a more serious industry, like let's say we work a lot with investment banking, we still try to be a bit more casual versus sounding super formal. And as an added bonus, I think you're gonna attract like more fun clients to work with. Now, let me show you how we turn as many replies of those into paid clients for Dingus and Zazie. So the moment the positive reply came in, it immediately got assigned to one of their sales reps, and they had a task on HubSpot to follow up with it. This is really one of the #1 reasons why companies lose on leads. It's their time to respond. So there's 1,000 statistics out there. Really, if you can reply within 5 minutes, it's ideal. Worst case, within 1 hour. So this within our own HubSpot, but we pretty much set up the same way for other clients. So whenever a lead comes in, a deal or a contact gets created, right, depending on your setup, the email gets forwarded, so the rep can directly respond in the chain, right? So here I can respond to Andrew, and the rep will also see like the full email that was sent, as well as like all the other information, right? The LinkedIn URL, the LinkedIn company URL, the state, if there's a phone number, right? That's gonna get assigned here. And this is great because, you know, most of the reps, they should be working off of their CRM, and they can continue the conversation, the sale from here. We also send a Slack notification. So again, this is from our own leads channel, but here, you know, it's the same notification. It's more like if your reps are more active in a certain channel, like let's say Slack, they could see it here, bam, they could just click in it and just go into HubSpot. So just really ideally making it easier for your reps to respond. The reason I also like sending this to a CRM is because this way we can track what happens after the rep responds. So did that lead convert into a meeting? Did it convert into a closed deal? Did it become a closed loss? You know, what were the reasons? For Dingus and Zazie, every month we had anywhere between 400 to up to 900 leads coming in, which led to about 14 deals closed each month. And like I said, I have their numbers here from year 2. So you can see, depending on the month, it was like anywhere from like 12, 9, you know, up to like 19. And this is the lead flow. Of course, that's why I'm saying it's important to keep track of these stuff in HubSpot, because maybe, okay, this month they had 978 leads, but they only closed 16. So was that a sales problem? Was it a lead quality problem, right? Now, the last thing we did was scale up the volume. You know, Jonathan said he got about 60 positive replies, and that was just a list of about 5,000 to 7,500 people. Once they saw it was working, literally John just messaged me. He's like, how can I do more? And we bumped it up to 20,000, 30,000. I think at some point we're messaging 40,000 people per month. I do believe in starting small out first, like maybe with 10,000 people, just because you're not spamming your time with messages you're unsure if they're working. In the end, that brought Dingus and Zazie about 215 closed deals with an average lifetime value of about $21,000 for each client, which adds up to about $4.5 million in net new revenue. Now, if you want to build the exact same strategy for your business, but tweaked based on what works for your market and your target ICP, click the first link in the description and book a free growth plan with us. We'll set up and run the whole system for you, anything from the deliverability infrastructure to the targeting, to the copy, the strategy, and even the follow-up, so you can start booking a ton of qualified sales calls without having to manage the whole system for yourself. And if you're already running outbound and it's not working out, we can look at it together, see why it's not turning into deals or it's not generating any positive replies, and show you how we change it so you can start closing more. So again, you can book your free growth plan by clicking the top link in the description. And if you want to learn exactly how I generate unlimited B2B leads step by step, please check out this video next.